Alright guys, this is Hakeem Isler. I'm here at Food Line. We're in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and Hurricane Florence is on the way. So we're here at Food Line so that we can show you guys what happens when we have like situations like this where we have natural disasters coming through and how people haven't prepared, so they come and they try to get everything at the last minute. So we're going to take you inside. We're going to show you what's flying off the shelves, and we're going to give you some options of some things that you can buy in order to make sure that you're prepared for the next storm that comes your way. All right? As you can see guys, the water section is gone, and they just restocked it, but people are taking waters left and right, so making sure that you have enough water ahead of time so you're not rushing in the last second to try to get water during the disaster scenario. You want to make sure that you have a good stock of water, and make sure you rotate the water out. So you might get like 3 cases today, and then over the next month you start rotating those out. Every time you go to the grocery store you get a new case, and then you drink an old case so that you have enough. So now you're going to have to get enough water for you and your family, because normally what happens during this survival scenario or a disaster is that water goes bad from flooding, or the water just turns off, it shuts off. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for that and you have enough water for you and your family to survive. Now we're in the bread aisle, and if you look at the bread aisle, you'll see as the camera pans and checks out the bread aisle that you don't have any type of bread in here, right? So people come in here, they buy a lot of bread, they buy a lot of milk, things that need to be either refrigerated or have a short shelf life. So we don't want that. If you're in a disaster scenario, you want something that's going to last for a pretty long time, especially because you don't know if it's going to be a long-term off-grid situation where maybe the grid goes down and maybe you're not going to get support, and you're going to be in that situation for a long period of time. So past a few days or a few weeks and this stuff is not going to be any help to you. So we want to make sure that we're getting things that have a long shelf life. We also have some of these like protein-rich shakes, right? So this one has an expiration date of April 28, 2019. So that's like over a year from now. All right, so if I had this in my survival shelf, on my survival shelf, in my survival storage items, right, for food and things of that nature, it's going to provide a lot of nutrients. So this is for sometimes when people don't have or can't eat solid foods, they will drink these liquids, or they're moving on the go, and it gives them a lot of like vitamins, it gives them protein, it gives them a lot of the stuff that they're going to need to stay energized throughout the day, and they don't have to be refrigerated. As you see, these just sit on the shelf, so I can set this on the shelf at home in a good temperature. I always have to check what the temperature is, and then they're going to last for a really long time. So instead of getting things like bread and milk, which are going to have to be refrigerated, I can have these things on my shelf. They're going to allow me and my family to eat for days on end, or at least get some of the nutrition that we need to keep going through a survival scenario in a disaster. All right, another thing that you can get, guys, is you can get some protein bars. So you have different types of protein bars or different types of snack bars. They have different nutrients in them. You can read the back to see what ingredients that they have, but you don't have to refrigerate these, and you can use them for a long period of time. If you get like a big box, you can continue to go through that with you and your family, and it's not something that's going to go bad. So we are in the trail mix and the mixed nut section. That's another storage item that you can have for food. So mixed nuts and trail mix have a lot of different nutrients in it that's going to help provide some good meal replacement for you when you're in a disaster scenario. So canned goods is another thing that has a long shelf life that I tell people to make sure that they get when they're prepping for a disaster, because it can sit on the shelf, and as long as you have a moderate or good temperature, it's going to last. When I was in Iraq, one of the things that we would eat on mission all the time is like canned tuna. We would take those with us, canned tuna, canned chicken, things of that nature. It was lasting in the heat, and then also we were able to eat it, get the protein that we needed on the go. If we mixed it with some crackers, then we got some good carbohydrates, so we were able to keep moving and keep going. You want to make sure that you have your vitamins. So if you can't get the food that you need during a disaster scenario, you want to always have some vitamins around so that you can get the proper nutrients that you're going to need to keep yourself strong while you're lasting through a survival scenario. but you also want to have whatever type of medication that you need. So if you have allergies or something like that, you want to have that stuff stored up. If you get really bad migraines or headaches, you want to have things that, you know, are going to be able to deal with that. Me, I have a bad lower back from jumping out of planes, so sometimes my back puts me down in the morning, so having some Advil or some Motrin or something like that really helps me out. So having Clorox bleach around is very handy. Not only does it allow you to keep your house sanitary, and when your sanitation degrades during the disaster scenario, you want to be able to make sure you keep things clean and you're always cleaning everything so that you make sure that the hygiene stays up and everything is good. But you can also use it to help purify your water. So a few drops of this and a certain amount of water is a formula. Watch my other video on that. You can also purify your water and be able to drink it, make it safe to drink, just like almost an iodine pill or something like that that you would put to help you clean the water. And we also have Comet. Or any type of Ajax or something that you can clean your tubs out with before you fill your tubs up with water, because we want to minimize the amount of bacteria and things that are in our water, and so we can use that to clean our tubs. We also have disinfectant wipes. Make sure you have those so that you can clean around the house. And again, you want to keep your hygiene up. You want to keep your sanitation up at your house so you're not getting sick during a disaster, because that's the worst time for you to get sick. So guys, baby wipes is another good thing to have as far as your disaster prep equipment and gear goes, because if your water goes out, you're going to need a way to clean yourself. And obviously you can use rainwater and things of that. But in Iraq, what we would do on mission is we would also use baby wipes. Clean all our crotch areas and under armpits and things of that nature. Just wipe those down and make sure that we're keeping our hygiene up. So baby wipes is another good one. Also, if you use the bathroom, you're going to be able to clean yourself properly. You don't want to just use tissue, because tissue would get some of the waste off, but then you're still going to have to clean yourself. So alright guys, so we got our groceries, we got everything that we need for our disaster scenario. So as you saw, I didn't get a lot of stuff, but I got things that really mattered, that had a long shelf life, that was inexpensive, with things that we need to carry us over through the disaster. So I want you to take note. Also comment, make sure you send me some ideas, some suggestions. You know, we didn't get everything that you needed, and we only spent a very short time in the supermarket just to give you some ideas. Obviously there are other things that you can get, but we just gave you some ideas today. Tell me how these ideas work for you, and make sure you leave a comment below. Also make sure to subscribe.